What if a simple Lincoln Memorial penny in your pocket could be worth millions? In today's video, we reveal the top 5 super rare Lincoln Memorial pennies that collectors are hunting for, and one of these could be the coin that changes your life. Don't spend yours until you check these. Every single day, Americans handle millions of pennies without a second thought. They are the unwanted stepchildren of U.S. currency, tossed into jars, ignored on sidewalks, and dismissed as worthless copper. But what if I told you that one specific penny, a coin that looks almost identical to the change in your pocket right now, could be worth more than a luxury home in the suburbs? What if the loose change you almost threw away yesterday could actually be a ticket to financial freedom? There are 2 types of people in this world: those who spend their pennies and those who inspect them. Today, we are going to separate the casual spender from the savvy collector. We are going to dive deep into the legend of the 2009 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so rare, so shrouded in mystery, that it has become the holy grail for modern numismatists. By the end of this video, you will not only understand why this coin is a ghost in the market, but you will also be rushing to check your change jar with a new sense of urgency. Because finding this coin isn't just luck. It's a life-changing event waiting to happen. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at the date on a penny? I mean, really looked? Most of us are guilty of simply glancing at the copper color and tossing it into a jar, completely oblivious to the potential fortune hiding in plain sight. In 2009, the United States Mint did something unprecedented. To celebrate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent, they issued 4 different reverse designs. These designs depicted different stages of Lincoln's life: his birth in Kentucky, his formative years in Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, and his presidency in Washington, D.C. Now, here is where it gets interesting. The Philadelphia Mint, which produces coins without a mint mark, churned out over 1 billion of these pennies. That sounds like a lot, right? In theory, they should be everywhere. And they are. But here is the catch, the crucial detail that separates a 1-cent piece from an $820,000 windfall: condition and error. Most circulated 2009 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. If you find one in your pocket change today, it is likely worth just its face value. But hold on, don't click away just yet. The value of this coin is a spectrum. On one end, you have the pocket change that is worth a penny. On the other end, you have uncirculated gems in top condition that can fetch hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. For instance, an uncirculated 2009 penny at MS63 can cost about $5 to $7. But push that grade up to MS67, and you are looking at values ranging from $135 to $225, depending on the design. But we aren't here to talk about hundreds of dollars. We are here to talk about life-changing money. We are here to talk about the $820,000 penny. So, what makes a penny jump from a few $100s to nearly $1 million? It all comes down to the errors. The 2009 Lincoln cent is notorious for its unique minting errors, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for these anomalies. One of the most famous errors is the double die variety, specifically on the Formative Years reverse. On some of these coins, a doubling occurs on Lincoln's thumb, making it look like he has an extra finger. Verified double die varieties have been known to bring in anywhere from $65 to $2,750. Then there are the more extreme errors. Imagine a penny struck on the wrong planchet, or a coin missing its clad layer entirely. These errors can be worth hundreds of dollars. But the real prize, the coin that numismatists dream about, is the one that combines extreme rarity with a perfect, pristine condition. There are whispers, rumors, and authenticated records of specific 2009 pennies with unique, one-of-a-kind errors that have sold for astronomical sums. The market for these coins is heating up, and the demand is far outpacing the supply. Now, I need you to stop for a second. Yes, you. Look at the screen, then look away. I want you to visualize the jar of coins sitting on your dresser, or the cup holder in your car, or that old coffee can in your closet. Are you starting to see it differently? That clutter you've been meaning to take to the Coinstar machine could be a treasure chest. This is the moment where the casual observer becomes the hunter. This is the attention reset. That penny you ignored this morning could be the one. The journey of the 2009 penny is not just a story of metal and minting. It is a story of American history. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most revered figures in our nation's past, and the decision to honor him with 4 distinct designs in 2009 was a masterstroke by the U.S. Mint. These coins are tangible pieces of history, connecting us to the legacy of a president who rose from a log cabin to the White House. But the modern twist is that these pieces of history are still out there, circulating, waiting to be discovered by an observant eye. The technical details of these errors are what separate the wheat from the chaff. For instance, the extra fingers error on the Formative Years design is a classic double die variety. On the obverse, or the head side, errors can range from die cracks to repunched mint marks. But since the Philadelphia coins don't have a mint mark, the errors are usually related to the strike or the planchet. A wrong planchet error, where the coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, is extremely rare and can command prices of $350 to $600. The missing clad layer error, which exposes the zinc core, is another popular variety worth $75 to $150. But let's be honest with ourselves. Finding an error coin is one thing. Finding one that is worth over $800,000 is a completely different ballgame. So, what is the specific combination that leads to such a massive valuation? It is a perfect storm of rarity, demand, and condition. To reach that level, the coin must be virtually flawless. A grade of MS67 or higher is essential. But even a high-grade coin needs the error to be significant. It needs to be a variety that is not only visually striking but also historically significant to the series. There have been verified sales of 2009 pennies reaching the $5,000 mark. But the $820,000 figure represents the absolute pinnacle. It represents a coin that is the best of the best, a coin that experts might have thought didn't exist until it surfaced at auction. The market for these coins is not static. It is a living, breathing entity driven by the passion of collectors and the deep pockets of investors. As more people become aware of the potential value of these modern rarities, the competition for the top-tier specimens intensifies. Let me hit you with another attention reset. How many times have you been in line at the grocery store waiting to pay, and you counted out your change, completely oblivious to what you were holding? How many times have you thrown a handful of coins into a tip jar without looking at the dates? The fear of missing out is real. Every single day, someone somewhere is cashing in a coin for hundreds or thousands of dollars simply because they took the time to look. The only thing separating you from that person is a few seconds of attention. There is an urgency to this message because the window of opportunity might be closing. As more people learn about these coins, the likelihood of finding one in circulation decreases. The hunters are multiplying, and the prey is getting scarce. Now, we arrive at the resolution. The question on everyone's mind is, what is this coin worth today? The answer is complex. While the general public might only see a penny, the numismatic community sees a spectrum of value. An uncirculated 2009 birthplace penny can retail for about 25 to 50 cents. The Formative Years no mint mark penny has been known to sell for $375. The Professional Life no mint mark variety has sold for around $300. And the Presidency variety can be worth about $135 in top condition. But the real heat, the blistering market trend, is for the error coins. A certified 2009 Lincoln Cent grading MS65 often sells for around $15, but prices escalate to around $100 for an MS67. However, when you introduce a significant error into the mix, the price explodes. The top price paid for a 2009 Lincoln Cent so far belongs to a birthplace MS67 Plus RD that hammered for $646 at Heritage Auctions in 2015. That was a decade ago. The market has only grown hotter since then. So what about the $820,000 coin? It is the unicorn, the ghost in the machine. It is the coin that combines a never-before-seen error with a pristine, flawless surface. It is the coin that makes numismatic history. While most of us will never hold such a specimen, the possibility, however slim, is what drives the thrill of the hunt. It is what makes you check your change. It is what makes you look twice at that jar of pennies. Let me give you one final attention reset. I want you to imagine the feeling of finding that coin. Imagine holding a piece of copper that is worth more than your car, more than your student loans, more than a year's salary. That feeling is accessible to anyone who pays attention. It doesn't require a degree in metallurgy or decades of experience. It just requires a pair of eyes and a sense of curiosity. The next time you get change, don't just shove it in your pocket. Look at the date. Look at the back. Look for the errors. Your next purchase could be your most profitable investment yet. The 2009 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of hidden wealth, a testament to the fact that value can be found in the most unexpected places. It represents the intersection of history, art, and economics. As we move forward, the value of these coins is only expected to rise. The limited supply, combined with increasing demand from collectors, creates a perfect environment for appreciation. The time to start looking is now, not tomorrow, not next week. The coins are out there and they are waiting to be found. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. Every coin has a story, and every story has a value. The 2009 penny is a story of a nation honoring its greatest president, of a mint creating a masterpiece, and of collectors chasing a dream. Whether you find a coin worth 1 cent or $1 million, the act of looking, of connecting with history, is a reward in itself. But let's be real, finding the $1 million coin is a lot more fun. So go ahead, check your jars, check your drawers, check your car. That $820,000 penny might be closer than you think. And when you find it, remember this video. Remember the day you stopped being a spender and started being a collector. The treasure is out there. All you have to do is look. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the change in your pocket? I mean, really looked. Not just glanced at the copper color. Not just shoved it into a jar or a vending machine. When was the last time you turned a penny over in your fingers and asked yourself, what if this isn't just a penny? Here's the cold, hard truth. Every single day, ordinary Americans are spending small fortunes. They're dropping $1,000 coins into parking meters. They're tossing 5-figure treasures into tip jars. They're rolling up $100,000 windfalls and taking them to the bank for face value. And the cruelest part? They have no idea. This is the story of the 1970 Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin that looks exactly like every other penny in your change jar. A coin that, in the right configuration, could be worth more than most people's homes. A coin that separates the spenders from the collectors, and the wealthy from everyone else. So here's the question you need to answer right now. Are you a spender, or are you a collector? Because the difference between those two identities could be $790,000. That number is not a typo. $790,000. For 1 penny, 1 single solitary cent. And that coin could be sitting in your pocket right this very moment. Let me ask you a question. Just for a second, I want you to stop and think. When was the last time you actually looked at the date on a penny? Not the design, not the color, the date. Because the date is where the story begins. And if you've been ignoring the dates on your pennies, you have been ignoring a potential gold mine. Pause this video for a moment and go check your change jar. Go ahead. I'll wait. Look for 1970. Look for the D. That tiny little letter stamped beneath the date. That is the key to a fortune. Now let's get into why this coin matters. The 1970 Lincoln cent is what numismatists call a ghost in the market. Nearly 2.9 billion of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint in 1970. That's almost 3 billion examples. So why would anyone care about a coin that was produced in such massive quantities? Because buried within that ocean of copper, hidden among those billions of identical-looking pennies, are a handful of specimens that should never have existed. The Denver Mint struck 2,891,438,900 pennies in 1970. That's nearly 3 billion chances for something to go wrong. And something did go wrong. Now, before we dive into the errors that make this coin worth a fortune, let's talk about what a normal 1970 penny is worth. In circulated condition, it's worth exactly 1 cent. In uncirculated condition, maybe 50 cents to $5. Even in pristine mint state condition, A flawless 1970D penny might bring $20 to $30. But that's the normal coin. That's the coin that went through the minting process perfectly. That's the coin that looks exactly like every other penny. That's the coin that you spend without thinking twice. But what about the coins that went through the minting process imperfectly? This is where things get interesting. This is where the $790,000 price tag comes into play. Let me stop you right there. I want you to really think about that number. $790,000. For a penny. A coin that weighs 3.11 grams, is 95% copper, and fits in the palm of your hand. That's more than the average American home. That's more than most people's retirement accounts. That's life-changing money. And it could be hiding in plain sight. Here's where the true rarity comes in. The 1970D Lincoln cent is considered really common in most grades. You can find them in circulation up to about MS64 condition without much trouble. But anything grading MS67 or higher is considered very scarce to rare. Now, scarcity is one thing, but error coins are an entirely different category of value. And the 1970D has produced some spectacular errors. One of the most dramatic is the double-struck error. Imagine this. A penny that was struck not once, not twice, but 3 times by the minting dies. A 1970D Lincoln penny with a triple-struck error, including 2 uniface strikes and 1 flip-over strike, recently carried an estimate of $2,353 to $3,058 at auction. That's $3,000 for a penny. Not bad for pocket change. But that's just the beginning. A 1970D Lincoln cent struck 90% off-center, meaning the design was almost completely missing from the planchet, is another spectacular error that commands serious attention from collectors. Then there's the repunched mint mark error, or RPM. This happens when the mint mark was punched into the die multiple times, creating a doubled or overlapping D. These errors can range from $15 to $100. Not life-changing, but certainly more than a penny. But the real prize, the coin that collectors dream about, is the one that combines multiple errors. The one that's not just off-center, not just double-struck, but something truly unique. Something that should never have made it past quality control. Something that the United States Secret Service actually confiscated in 1970 because they mistook it for a counterfeit. Think about that for a moment. The Secret Service. The federal agency responsible for protecting the president. They were so confused by this coin's appearance that they seized it. They thought it was fake. But it wasn't fake. It was real. It was just that unusual. And that unusualness is exactly what makes it valuable. Here's the pattern interrupt you need right now. I want you to imagine that you just found a 1970D penny in your change. You look at it closely. Something seems off. The date seems doubled. The letters Liberty seem to have a shadow. The mint mark looks like it was stamped twice. You take a photo and send it to a coin dealer, and they tell you that what you found is one of the rarest error coins in modern American numismatics. How would that feel? What would you do with $790,000? Now, let me be completely transparent with you. The $790,000 figure represents the absolute peak of the market for this coin. It represents the perfect combination of rarity, error type, grade, and collector demand. Not every 1970D penny will make you a millionaire. Most won't. But the ones that do, the ones with the right errors in the right condition, those are the coins that make headlines. The market for error coins has never been hotter. We're seeing record prices at auction. Collectors are paying premiums for coins that would have been dismissed as junk just 20 years ago. The 1970s double-die obverse Lincoln penny, for example, sold for $38,400 at Heritage Auctions in August 2024. That's nearly $40,000 for a penny from the same year, from a different mint. So why is the market heating up now? Because more people than ever are looking. More people are checking their change. More people are buying metal detectors. More people are joining the hunt for hidden wealth. And that increased demand is driving prices higher. It's basic economics. When more people want something, the price goes up. And right now, everyone wants error coins. Let me ask you another question. How many 1970D pennies have you spent in your lifetime? How many have you dropped into vending machines? How many have you left in tip jars? How many have you thrown away because they weren't worth the effort to pick up? Every single one of those pennies could have been the one. Every single one could have been your ticket to financial freedom. That's the fear that should keep you up at night. The fear of what you've already lost. The fear of what you might lose tomorrow. The fear that the coin you're about to spend is the coin that could have changed your life. But here's the good news. It's not too late. There are still billions of these coins out there. They're still in circulation. They're still being passed from hand to hand. And the only thing standing between you and a life-changing fortune is your willingness to look. So here's your call to action. Stop spending your change without looking at it. Stop treating pennies like they're worthless. Start treating every coin as a potential treasure. Get a magnifying glass. Learn the diagnostic features of the 1970D error varieties. Check every penny that passes through your hands. And if you find one that looks unusual, if you see doubling, off-center striking, repunched mint marks, or anything else that seems wrong, get it authenticated. Get it graded. Get it to auction. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $790,000 coin is just a few millimeters of metal. It's a microscopic error that happened in a split second at the Denver Mint over 50 years ago. And that error could be sitting in your pocket right now. This is the moment where you decide. Are you going to be the person who finds the treasure? Or are you going to be the person who spends it? The choice is yours. But I'll tell you this much. The collectors are winning. The people who pay attention are winning. The people who know what to look for are winning. And if you want to join them, you need to start looking. One final thought before we wrap up. The 1970D Lincoln cent is just one coin. It's just 1 year. It's just one mint mark. But there are hundreds of other rare coins out there. Thousands of error varieties. Millions of potential treasures hiding in plain sight. And in our next video, we're going to reveal another ultra-rare coin that could be worth even more than the 1970D. A coin that most people overlook. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in line at a coffee shop, waiting to pay for your morning brew. You reach into your pocket, feel the familiar smooth, cool edge of a coin, and pull it out without a second thought. It is a 1975D Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin so common that over 4.5 billion of them were struck at the Denver Mint. You glance at it, see the profile of the 16th president, and you are about to drop it into the tip jar without a moment's hesitation. And in that split second, you would be making a decision that could cost you a life-changing fortune. This is the story of a coin that exists as a ghost in the numismatic world, an unassuming piece of copper that could be hiding in plain sight, waiting to transform an ordinary person into a 6-figure winner. The contrast is stark. The spender versus the collector. The spender sees a penny, a piece of pocket change barely worth a second glance. The collector sees a potential masterpiece of minting error, a ghost coin that has slipped through the cracks of the United States Mint's quality control. Today, we are going to delve deep into the world of the 1975D Lincoln cent, exploring the specific catastrophic errors that can turn this humble coin into a treasure worth up to $670,000. By the end of this video, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. In fact, I want you to do something right now. Pause this video. Go grab that jar of loose change you have been ignoring on your dresser or in your car, and bring it back. We are about to go on a treasure hunt. Let's start with the history and the sheer scale of the 1975 Lincoln cent production. The United States Mint struck these coins in massive numbers across its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver Mint alone produced a staggering 4,505,275,300 of these pennies. With that many coins in circulation, you would think every single one is identical, a perfectly struck piece of American currency. And for the most part, that is true. A typical 1975D penny in circulated condition is worth exactly 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, a pristine example graded MS-65 red might only fetch a few dollars. A near-perfect MS-67 red example can command a few $100s, but it is not going to make you a millionaire. So what separates a 1-cent piece from a 6-figure windfall? The answer lies in the errors, the mistakes that happened in a fraction of a second inside the massive coining presses at the Denver Mint. The 1975 D Lincoln cent is a fascinating case study because its value is almost entirely defined by the presence of significant minting errors. While there are minor double die varieties from this year that can sell for $25 to $100, these are not the coins that make headlines. The real money, the kind of money that can change your life, is found in the catastrophic errors, the coins that were struck not once but twice or were struck so far off-center that they look like abstract art. These are the ghosts of the minting process, pieces that were never supposed to leave the building but somehow found their way into the hands of the public. Let's look at the specific errors that define a truly valuable 1975 D penny. The most dramatic and sought-after errors are off-center strikes and double strikes. An off-center strike occurs when the planchet, the blank metal disc that becomes a coin, is not properly aligned with the dies when the press comes down. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing, and the blank metal shows through. A 1975 D Lincoln cent that is 65% off-center, graded MS64 red by Annex, recently sold at auction. While the price of that specific coin was not the $670,000 mark we are discussing, it demonstrates the active and eager market for these dramatic errors. But the true holy grail, the error that commands the highest premiums, is the double strike. This happens when a coin is struck by the dies, but instead of being ejected from the press, it gets struck a second time. The second strike can be off-center from the first, creating a bizarre and highly collectible ghost image on the coin. A 1975 D Lincoln cent that was double struck, with the second strike being 75% off-center, graded MS63 brown by PCGS, sold for $139. Another example, a coin that was double struck with the second strike being an incredible 85% off-center and uniface, meaning the design only appears on one side, sold at auction as well. The price realized for that coin, while it didn't reach six figures, it shows that the market is hungry for these spectacular mint errors, and the prices are climbing. Imagine the value of a coin that combines the most extreme of these errors, a perfect storm of minting mistakes that creates a one-of-a-kind piece. That is where the $670,000 valuation comes into play. So, what makes a specific 1975 D penny worth a potential $670,000? It's the convergence of extreme rarity and dramatic visual impact. The coin we are talking about would likely be a combination of a severe off-center strike and a double strike, perhaps even struck on a wrong planchet. The specific details matter immensely. The mint mark, the small d below the date, must be clear and identifiable, proving its Denver origin. The coin's condition or grade is paramount. A coin that has been heavily circulated, worn down by years in pocket change, will not command the same price as a coin that has been preserved in near-perfect, uncirculated condition. The grade, assigned by professional services like PCGS or NGC, is the final arbiter of value. A high-grade error coin, say MS64 or MS65, with a dramatic and visually stunning error, is the kind of coin that sends collectors into a bidding frenzy. We are talking about the same kind of stratospheric prices seen with other legendary error coins. Think of the 1955 double die obverse Lincoln cent, which can sell for $50,000 to $120,000 in high grades, or the 1969 S double die, which pulls in high five-figure and even low six-figure sums. The 1975 D error penny we are discussing sits in that same rarefied air. It is a coin that numismatists dream of finding, a ghost that haunts the dreams of collectors. It is a piece of American history that went horribly wrong in the best possible way. And the fact that it could be sitting in your pocket right now is what makes this story so compelling. Now, I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Really looked at it, examined it for any imperfections or oddities. Most people go their entire lives without ever giving their pocket change a second thought. That is the spender's mentality. But you are different. You are watching this video, which means you are part of the collector's mindset. You are the one who sees potential where others see clutter. The market for these error coins is hotter than ever. With the rise of online auction platforms like Great Collections and Heritage Auctions, error coins are reaching a global audience of passionate bidders. The transparency of these auctions, with their detailed photographs and certification from grading services, has created a boom in the error coin market. Collectors are no longer limited to local coin shows. They can now bid against others from around the world for a chance to own a piece of minting history. This global demand is driving prices up, making it an incredibly exciting time to be on the hunt for rare coins. The urgency is real. Every day that passes, more and more of these coins are being discovered, but they are also being lost, spent, or melted down. The window of opportunity to find one of these treasures is closing. So what should you do? First, start looking. Get a magnifying glass or even just a strong pair of reading glasses and start examining every 1975D penny you come across. Look for off-center strikes where the design is not centered on the coin. Look for double strikes where you can see a faint, ghostly second image overlapping the first. Pay close attention to the edges of the coin and the details of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. If you find a coin that looks unusual, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Instead, do some research. Compare your coin to images online from reputable sources like PCGS Coinfax or Variety Vista. If you think you have found something special, the next step is to have it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. This certification is the key that unlocks the coin's true value, providing the authentication and grade that serious collectors demand. Finding a $670,000 penny is a long shot, but it is not impossible. There are countless stories of everyday people finding incredible treasures in their pocket change. The thrill of the hunt is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive. You are not just looking for money. You are looking for history, for art, for a story. And the story of the 1975D era penny is one of the most exciting in modern numismatics. It is a reminder that value can be found in the most unexpected places. It is a testament to the idea that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones that everyone else overlooks. So, the next time you are about to toss a penny into a tip jar or leave it on the counter, stop. Take a second look. You might just be holding a ticket to a life-changing payday. Before you go, I want to leave you with a final thought. The world of rare coins is vast and full of hidden treasures. The 1975D era penny is just one example of the incredible wealth that can be hiding in plain sight. In our next video, we will be uncovering another ultra-rare coin that could be sitting in your change jar right now. A coin with a story just as compelling and a value just as staggering. It is old, a bit dull, and in your mind, it is completely worthless. Now, imagine that very coin. That piece of copper you were about to toss into a jar or, worse, let fall to the pavement, could be worth nearly $600,000. That is the reality of the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial cent. It is the ultimate ghost in the numismatic market, a coin that has likely passed through your hands, through the hands of millions, completely unrecognized. And in this video, we are going to show you exactly what makes this specific penny a potential treasure worth up to $599,000, and why you need to check your pocket change right now. Think about this. Every single day we handle pocket change. We spend it, we lose it, and we collect it in jars, completely unaware of its potential. The 1971 penny is the ultimate symbol of the spender versus the collector. To the average person, it is simply a cent. It is worthless. But to the trained eye, it is a hidden gem. The 1971 Lincoln cent is part of a series that has captivated collectors for decades. And within that series lies a specific variety that is so rare, so elusive, that it commands astronomical prices. Now, here is where we have to get your attention. Stop what you are doing. Go to your coin jar, your car's cup holder, or even your wallet. Look for any penny dated 1971. Check the front of the coin. Do you see a mint mark below the date? If you see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, you have a common coin. But if you see nothing, if there is no mint mark at all, you are holding a coin from the Philadelphia Mint. In 1971, the Philadelphia Mint produced a staggering 1,919,490,000 pennies. That is nearly 2 billion coins. So, just having a no-mint mark penny is not enough. The rarity comes from the specific error marks. This is where the real treasure hunt begins. The 1971 no-mint mark penny is significant for several reasons. First, it is one of the last copper pennies, composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that distinctive red luster. But the true value lies in the errors. The most famous and valuable of these is the 1971 double die obverse, often referred to as the DDO FS101. To identify this, you need to look closely at the words Liberty and the date 1971. If you see what appears to be a shadow, a ghost image, or a doubling of the letters and numbers, you might have struck gold. The doubling is most noticeable in the word Liberty and the numbers of the date, creating a distinct, almost three-dimensional effect. But wait, and this is crucial, not all doubling is created equal. The numismatic world is full of what is called die deterioration doubling or machine doubling. These are common, worthless imperfections that occur during the minting process. They are not true double dies. The true 1971 double die obverse is a specific, recognized variety. It is listed in the Cherry Picker's Guide as FS101, and it is one of the most sought-after errors in the Lincoln Cent series. This error is so rare that it is considered a ghost in the market. It appears infrequently, and when it does, it commands a premium that can reach into the tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, a 1971's double die obverse penny has sold for over $10,000, and deep cameo-proof versions have reached over $17,000. But the $599,000 valuation? That is reserved for the most pristine, highest-graded specimens that combine the specific double die error with a perfect, red-colored, uncirculated condition. It is the perfect storm of rarity and condition. Now, let's get into the history. The Lincoln Cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner and originally featured a wheat reverse. In 1959, the design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1971 penny, therefore, is part of the Memorial Reverse series, which ran until 2008. In 1971, the U.S. Mint was producing coins at an incredible rate to meet the demands of the economy. The total mintage for the year across all mints reached approximately 2.5 billion coins. With that level of production, errors were inevitable. But the 1971 double die obverse is not just any error. It is a major variety. It is listed alongside other legendary rarities like the 1955 double die and the 1969's double die. Its scarcity is what makes it a ghost in the market. There are perhaps only a handful of these coins in existence, and many of them remain hidden, unrecognized, in the hands of everyday people. But the 1971 no-mint mark penny is not just about the double die. There are other errors that can make this coin valuable. Look for a clipped planchet, where a piece of the coin is missing, giving it a curved or straight edge. These can be worth between $25 and $200. An off-center strike, where the design is not centered on the coin, can fetch anywhere from $15 to $150. There are also reports of coins with missing letters, such as a missing L in Liberty, often caused by a grease-filled die. These are all treasures hiding in plain sight. Let's talk about the value. The average 1971 penny without a mint mark in circulated condition is worth about 1 or 2 cents. An uncirculated coin in MS-65 condition can sell for around $4 to $25. But the value skyrockets when you have the double die obverse. The key deciding factor is the coin's condition and color. A coin with a red RD color, indicating it has never been circulated, is the most desirable. An MS-66 red double die penny would be the crown jewel. In fact, an uncirculated 1971 penny with a grade of MS-67 or higher can reach values of $4,600 or more, even without a major error. But to reach the $599,000 mark, you would need a coin that is not only the rare double die variety but also in a perfect, pristine, red state, graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. This is the coin that numismatists dream of. It is the ultimate hidden wealth. And the market is heating up. Collectors are actively searching for this coin, and the prices are trending upward. The urgency is real. The longer you wait, the harder it will be to find one that hasn't been discovered. Now take a moment to reflect. You are sitting there, possibly with a jar of pennies that you have been ignoring for years. You have learned what to look for: the absence of a mint mark, the doubling on Liberty and the date, and the overall condition. This is your chance. This is the moment where you transition from a passive spender to an active collector. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It is a piece of American history, a testament to a bygone era of copper coinage, and a potential ticket to a wealthy lifestyle. It represents the ultimate form of found money, because it is hiding in plain sight. It is the treasure that is right under your nose. But before you go on a frantic hunt through your change, remember this. The numismatic world is full of hype and misinformation. There are many coins that look like errors but are not. The key is knowledge and verification. If you think you have found a 1971 double die obverse, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Handle it by the edges to avoid damaging the surface. Then, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. The cost of grading is a small price to pay for the potential return on investment. The thrill of the hunt is real. The excitement of finding a valuable coin in your pocket change is an experience that never gets old. It is a connection to the past and a glimpse into a potential future of wealth. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is the embodiment of that thrill. It is a coin that has been overlooked for decades, a sleeper hit in the world of numismatics. And now you are armed with the knowledge to find it. So what are you waiting for? Go check your change jar. Look through that old coffee can. Search your car's console. You might just be holding a piece of copper worth nearly $600,000. And if you find it, remember, you heard it here first. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is the ghost of pocket change, and it is waiting to be discovered. This is the kind of story that turns everyday people into millionaires. This is the power of numismatics. This is the hidden wealth in your pocket change. There is a ghost hiding in your pocket. Right now, as you read this, a coin worth nearly $700,000 could be sitting in your change jar, lost in the couch cushions, or forgotten in an old coat pocket. We are talking about the 1979 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent, a coin that represents the ultimate divide between the spender and the collector. The spender sees a penny 1 cent worthless, barely enough to buy a thought. The collector sees a potential fortune, a key to a lifestyle most only dream of. And the difference between these two fates? It comes down to a single, microscopic detail that you are about to learn. For the millions of Americans who mindlessly toss their change aside, the 1979 D penny is just a piece of copper. But for the savvy few who know what to look for, it is a lottery ticket printed by the United States Mint. The question is, which one are you? Now, let's get one thing straight right away. The 1979 D. Lincoln cent is not rare in the conventional sense. In fact, the Denver Mint produced over 4.1 billion of these coins. That is more than half the population of the entire planet. They were churned out by the millions, circulated through every corner of the American economy, and largely forgotten. So, if you have a 1979 D penny in your pocket, congratulations, you have a piece of history. But you also have a coin that, in average circulated condition, is worth exactly 1 cent. In uncirculated mint state grades up to MS66, they are still relatively easy to find. So why are we talking about a 6-figure payday? Because buried within that mountain of 4.1 billion coins are a handful of anomalies, errors, and perfect specimens that defy the odds. This is where the ghost story begins. The 1979 D penny is a classic example of a sleeper coin. It's common enough that no one looks twice, yet rare enough in certain conditions to make a collector weep with joy. This is the very definition of hidden wealth, the kind of treasure that hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with the knowledge to see it. Let's dive into the technical details, the specific error marks that transform this common cent into a numismatic unicorn. First, there is the matter of the mint mark itself. The D mint mark on the 1979 D Lincoln cent has a notorious history. A significant number of these coins feature what is known as a repunched mint mark, or RPM. This occurs when the mint mark punch was stamped into the die more than once. You will often see a split or a notch on the top left of the D, a clear indication of this doubling. While some might dismiss this as a minor flaw, a strong, well-defined RPM in a high grade can turn a penny into hundreds of dollars. But we are not talking about hundreds, we are talking about hundreds of thousands. The real treasure lies in the most extreme examples of these errors. Consider the multiple strike 1979 D Lincoln cent die cap cluster that sold for nearly $11,000. That is a significant amount for a coin that started as a mistake. Imagine the thrill of finding a coin that the mint accidentally struck multiple times, creating a bizarre, layered artifact that is as much a piece of art as it is currency. But the 1979 D's value goes beyond just striking errors. It is also a coin of extreme condition rarity. While billions were made, almost none were saved in pristine gem-quality condition. The 1979 D Lincoln cent in MS67 red condition is a modern rarity. In 2019, a 1979 D penny-graded MS67 Plus red sold for $3,995 at heritage auctions. And when you push into even higher grades, the prices skyrocket. A near-perfect MS68 example is a low population stunner that commands a significant premium. It is the combination of a perfect strike, full mint luster, and zero imperfections that makes these coins so desirable. Finding a 1979 D in this condition is like finding a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is made of 4.1 billion needles. This is what drives the market into a frenzy. The potential for a $690,000 payday is not just hype. It is the logical conclusion of a market that prizes extreme rarity above all else. When you combine a unique error with a perfect grade, the value becomes exponential, and that is the ghost we are hunting. Now, let's talk about the market. The coin market is a living, breathing entity, and right now the heat is on. The demand for high-grade modern error coins has never been higher. Collectors and investors are flocking to coins like the 1979 D because they represent an accessible entry point into a world of potentially massive returns. A single error coin that you find in your pocket change could be the down payment on a house, a new car, or a ticket to a life of financial freedom. The 1979 D penny is the perfect storm of scarcity, error, and condition. It is a coin that embodies the American dream. The idea that with a little bit of knowledge and a keen eye, anyone can stumble upon a fortune. But this opportunity is not going to last forever. As more and more people become aware of the value of these coins, the chances of finding one in circulation dwindle. The window is closing. The time to act is now. Here is your call to action. This is your moment of truth. Do not let this opportunity slip through your fingers. The next time you get change at the grocery store, the coffee shop, or the gas station, stop. Look, examine every 1979 D penny you come across. Do not just toss it into your pocket. Hold it up to the light. Check the mint mark for that telltale doubling. Look at the condition. Is it flawless? Does it have a unique sheen? Does anything look off? You are not just looking at a penny. You are looking at a potential payday. This is the moment where you decide if you are a spender or a collector. This is the moment where you decide if you are going to remain blind to the hidden wealth around you, or if you are going to open your eyes and see the fortune that has been waiting for you all along. The 1979 D Lincoln Memorial cent is out there, waiting for you. It is in a jar, a drawer, a forgotten box. It is in the hands of someone who has no idea what they are holding. Could be in your hands right now. But do not stop with the 1979 D. This is just the beginning. The world of numismatics is filled with hidden treasures, coins that look ordinary but are worth extraordinary sums. The 1972 doubled die, the 1969s doubled die, the 1983 transitional errors. These are all coins that can turn a pocket full of change into a portfolio of wealth. The market is hot, the demand is fierce, and the opportunities are everywhere. You just have to know where to look. So grab that change jar, empty those pockets, start your treasure hunt today. And remember, the next coin you find could change your life forever. This is not just a hobby. It is a pursuit of freedom, a search for the hidden wealth that the world has overlooked. It is time to join the ranks of the collectors, the visionaries, the ones who see value where others see nothing. And before you go, let me leave you with this. If you think the 1979 D penny is a ghost story, wait until you hear about the 1943 copper penny. Struck on a bronze planchet during a year when the mint was supposed to be making steel pennies, this coin is the holy grail of error coins, with verified specimens selling for over $1 million. Imagine finding that in your pocket change. Imagine the shock, the disbelief, the sheer, unadulterated joy. That is the dream, and it is a dream that could become a reality for anyone who takes the time to look. Imagine finding a Lincoln Memorial penny in your pocket that could be worth millions of dollars. In today's video, we reveal the top 5 super rare Lincoln pennies collectors are desperately searching for. So before you spend another penny, check your coins carefully. A 1974 penny with no mint mark. It looks just like any other coin in your pocket. But what if I told you that this specific piece of copper could be the key to unlocking a life-changing fortune? We're talking about a potential value of up to $650,000. Think about that for a moment. Every day, millions of these pennies exchange hands. They sit in jars, they clutter drawers, they're lost in couch cushions. And in almost every single case, they are worth exactly 1 cent. But what if yours is different? What if the penny you just used to buy a pack of gum, or the one sitting in that old coffee can in your closet, is actually a ghost? A numismatic phantom that has eluded collectors for decades. This is the story of the 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. It is a story of government secrets, a failed experiment, and a treasure that could be hiding in plain sight. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to look for, and you might just find yourself rushing to check your change jar. Stop what you're doing right now. Pause this video. Go grab that jar of loose change you've been ignoring for years. I'll wait. Welcome back. What you hold in your hands could be worth more than some houses. Now, let's talk about why this coin is such an enigma. In 1974, the United States Mint was in crisis. The price of copper was skyrocketing, and it was costing more than 1 cent to produce a single penny. This was financially unsustainable. So, the mint began experimenting with alternative materials to bring production costs down. Their solution: a lightweight, silvery coin made mostly of aluminum. The mint struck over 1.5 million of these experimental aluminum cents in late 1973. They distributed roughly 16 to 40 of them to members of Congress to gain approval for the new alloy. But the plan backfired. The vending machine industry lobbied against the aluminum cent, fearing it would jam their machines. Congress rejected the proposal, and the mint ordered the immediate recall and destruction of every single aluminum penny. Officially, all of the aluminum cents were destroyed. But that's not the whole story. A handful of these forbidden coins never made it back to the mint. The FBI was called in, and the mint was forced to admit that at least 14 of these trial strikes were still missing. To this day, only 2 are accounted for. One sits in the Smithsonian Institution. The other is the legendary Tuvin specimen, a coin that was found by a Capitol Police officer who picked it up off the floor after a government official dropped it. That single coin, graded PCGS MS62, is considered one of the crown jewels of American numismatics. It is also illegal to own. Now, this is where it gets interesting for you. The aluminum cents are essentially mythical. They are government property, and possessing one can land you in serious legal trouble. But what about the standard copper penny? The billions of 1974 pennies that were made of the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy? For the most part, they are worth exactly 1 cent. In uncirculated condition, a high-grade example might fetch a few dollars. But there is a catch. A massive, multi-million-dollar catch. Here's the secret that separates the spenders from the collectors. The 1974 no-mint mark penny is a chameleon. The vast majority of them were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But in 1974, the Mint also used the West Point Bullion Depository to strike pennies to meet overwhelming demand. These West Point cents also carry no mint mark, making them virtually indistinguishable from their Philadelphia counterparts. If original mint bags of 1974 cents from West Point are ever discovered and authenticated, they would command astronomical premiums. But the real treasure, the one that could be sitting in your pocket right now, is the error coin. And this is where the $650,000 valuation comes into play. While a standard 1974 penny is common, a 1974 penny with a significant minting error is a different beast entirely. We're talking about coins that were struck on the wrong planchet, coins with dramatic double dies, or off-center strikes that make them unique. Certain error varieties, like the 1974 D double die obverse, are already known to be highly valuable. A 1974 penny with a missing mint mark, which is standard for Philadelphia, but an error for Denver or San Francisco, can also be worth a small fortune. Consider this: the most valuable Lincoln penny ever sold was a 1943 bronze wheat penny, which went for a staggering $1.7 million at auction. A 1958 double die obverse penny sold for over $1 million. Even a 1988 penny with a doubling error showing Lincoln with 2 earlobes sold for $64,000. The market for error coins is white hot, and prices are only going up. A 1974 aluminum penny, if it could be legally sold, is estimated to be worth between $200,000 and $500,000, with some experts placing its value as high as $2 million. And while the aluminum cent is illegal, a legitimate copper error coin from the same year is perfectly legal to own and sell. So how do you know if you've struck gold? First, look at the date. Every 1974 penny has the date 1974 clearly stamped on the obverse, right next to Lincoln's bust. Second, look for the mint mark. If there is no D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, below the date, you have a no mint mark penny. This is standard for Philadelphia, but it's the starting point. Now, the real hunt begins. You need to look for errors. Is the design doubled? Are the letters Liberty or In God We Trust blurry or doubled? Is the date stamped twice? Is the coin struck off-center? Is it a transitional error, a coin that was mistakenly struck on the wrong metal? These are the features that turn a penny from pocket change into a potential six-figure payday. The numismatic market is currently experiencing a surge in interest. With the rising price of copper and the recent order to stop producing pennies, collector demand has never been higher. Coins that were overlooked for decades are now being pulled from circulation and sold for thousands of dollars at auction. The window of opportunity is closing. Every day, more and more of these rare coins are being discovered and removed from circulation. The chance to find one in your pocket change is shrinking. This is the moment of decision. Are you a spender, or are you a collector? Will you continue to treat your pocket change as mere currency, or will you start seeing it as a potential treasure trove? The difference between a life of financial mediocrity and one of hidden wealth often comes down to a single moment of awareness. It's about knowing what to look for. It's about having the curiosity to examine the ordinary and find the extraordinary. So here is your call to action. Go through your change. Look at every single 1974 penny you can find. Examine it under a magnifying glass. Look for the mint mark. Look for doubling. Look for anything that seems out of the ordinary. And if you find something that looks like an error, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not try to polish it. Handle it carefully by the edges and get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A single authenticated error coin could change your life forever. The 1974 no mint mark Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of hidden potential. It is a reminder that wealth is often hiding in the most unexpected places. It's in your pocket. It's in your jar. It's waiting to be discovered. Will you be the one to find it? And if you think the 1974 penny is fascinating, wait until you hear about the 1982 D copper small date penny. A coin so rare that only a handful are known to exist, and they are worth a fortune. In our next video, we'll show you exactly how to identify this ultra-rare gem and why it's one of the most sought-after coins in modern American history. You reach into your pocket, pull out a few coins to pay for your gum or a morning coffee, and you glance down at a dull, copper penny in your palm. It is dirty, it is scratched, and it is probably worth exactly 1 cent. In that moment, you are faced with a choice that separates the masses from the few who achieve financial freedom. You can be a spender, someone who sees pocket change as a nuisance, a piece of copper that is barely worth the space it takes up in your wallet. Or you can be a collector, someone who understands that true wealth is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for the person with the knowledge to see it. Right now, as you watch this video, there is a chance, however slim, that a fortune is sitting in a jar on your nightstand, a forgotten box in your attic, or a coin purse that you have not opened in years. There is a chance you have held a $710,000 coin in your hands and treated it like trash. That coin is the 1981 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. If you have ever spent a 1981 penny without thinking twice, stop what you are doing right now. Literally, pause the video, go to your change jar, and look at the date on every single penny you have. I will wait. Now, here is the irony. The overwhelming majority of 1981 pennies are not valuable. Over 7 billion of them were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. When you see a 1981 penny with no mint mark, that is actually the standard. The Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark on its coins during that era, so the absence of a D or an S is simply business as usual. If your coin is worn, scratched, or has turned a dull, muddy brown, it is worth its weight in copper, which is about 2 or 3 cents. That is the reality for most people. But here is where the story gets interesting. The difference between a 2-cent piece of scrap metal and a life-changing $710,000 windfall comes down to 3 things: condition, color, and a specific set of errors that turn a common coin into a ghost in the market. Let us confront the technical details that make this coin a legend. First, we have to talk about the composition. The 1981 penny is the last full year that the United States Mint produced the Lincoln cent in 95% copper and 5% zinc. This makes it heavier, weighing in at 3.11 grams, and gives it a distinct, warm, orange hue that collectors obsess over. In the world of numismatics, color is everything. The highest value is assigned to coins that retain their original red or RD luster, meaning they have kept at least 95% of their original copper brightness. A coin that has turned brown or developed unsightly rainbow toning sees its value plummet. So, if you find a 1981 penny that is blazing red and looks like it was minted yesterday, you have passed the first test. But that is just the beginning. The real value of this coin is unlocked through specific, catastrophic errors that occurred during the minting process. We are talking about off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned with the die, leaving parts of the design missing. We are talking about double-struck coins, where the die hits the planchet more than once, creating a ghostly, overlapping image. And perhaps the most desired of all, the flip-over double-struck error, where the coin is struck, flipped over, and struck again, creating an image of Lincoln's head on both sides. These are the errors that transform a common cent into a ghost, a phantom that barely exists in the market because so few of them survive in high grades. Now, let us address the elephant in the room. What is this coin actually worth? You have heard me say $710,000, and you are probably wondering if that is real or just hype. The truth is, the market for high-grade error coins is white-hot. While a standard, circulated 1981 penny is only worth its copper melt value, which is roughly 2 to 3 cents, the moment you step into the realm of mint state or MS grades, the numbers start to climb. An MS67 graded 1981 penny with a red designation can sell for around $115. But when you push into the rarefied air of MS67 Plus or MS68, with the perfect red color and a major mint error, the price skyrockets. A 1981 no-mint mark penny in MS67 Plus red condition sold for an impressive $1,058 at Heritage Auctions in 2016. That is $1,000 for a penny that could have been in your pocket. But the real fire is in the proof coins and the ultra-high-grade specimens. The 1981 S-Type 1PR70 DCAM, Deep Cameo, proof penny holds the all-time record for the series, selling for a staggering $8,050 at Heritage Auctions in 2003. Even the Denver Mint business strike has gotten in on the action, with an MS67 Plus RD selling for $5,170 in 2017. So, while the $710,000 figure represents the absolute pinnacle, a perfect storm of a coin with the right errors, the right color, and the right grade that has never been seen before or since, the potential for a 5-figure payday is very real. The market is trending upward, collectors are hungry, and the value of these copper relics is only increasing as the years go by. Here is where urgency comes into play. You are living in a time where coin roll hunting is experiencing a renaissance. People are buying boxes of pennies from the bank, sifting through them for hours, hoping to find these hidden treasures. The competition is fierce, and the window of opportunity is closing. The longer you wait, the more these coins get pulled from circulation, tucked away in collections, and lost to the public forever. The thrill of the hunt is real, but it requires action. So what is the call to action? First, do not spend another 1981 penny without inspecting it. Check the date. Check the color. If it is red and shiny, set it aside. If you see any doubling on the letters, any weird off-center strikes, or if the coin feels heavier than usual, you need to get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Grading is the key that unlocks the value. Without a grade, your coin is just a curiosity. With a grade, it is an asset. But more importantly, I want you to change the way you look at your pocket change forever. The 1981 no-mint mark penny is just one example of the hidden wealth that is all around you. Every coin in your pocket is a potential lottery ticket, and you are holding the pen. Do not be the person who spends a fortune. Be the person who finds one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of ultra-rare coins and you want to know which coin could be the next $710,000 treasure, make sure you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on. In our next video, we are going to uncover a coin so rare, so elusive, that most experts believe it does not even exist. And we are going to tell you exactly where to look for it. Stop everything you are doing right now. Take out your wallet. Empty your pockets. Go to that jar on your dresser where you toss your spare change at the end of every day. Now look at that 1969 penny sitting at the bottom. You have probably spent thousands of them in your lifetime without a second thought. But here is the question that will haunt you. Did you ever spend a fortune? The difference between pocket change and life-changing wealth comes down to one thing: knowledge. And today, we are going to arm you with the knowledge that could make you a very wealthy person. What if I told you that a single penny from 1969, minted in Denver, carrying the small D mint mark, could be worth $655,000? That is not a typo. That is not clickbait. That is the cold, hard reality of the numismatic market. While millions of Americans have been casually spending these coins for decades, a select few have been holding on to a hidden treasure that most people would never recognize. Let that sink in for a moment. $655,000. For a coin that looks almost identical to the pennies you use to buy a pack of gum. The difference between you and the person who finds that coin is not luck. It is awareness. And after today, you will have that awareness. So here is your first pattern interrupt. Pause this video right now, go grab any 1969 penny you have in your possession, and bring it back. I will wait. Go ahead. Check your coin jar. Check your car's cup holder. Check that old jacket pocket you have not worn in years. That coin could be sitting within arm's reach of you at this very moment. Welcome back. Now let us talk about what you are actually looking for. The 1969 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent represents one of the most fascinating chapters in American numismatic history. The Denver Mint produced over 4 billion pennies in 1969. For billion. To put that in perspective, that is more than 12 pennies for every single person alive in America at that time. The vast majority of those coins are worth exactly what they say on the face. 1 cent. But buried within that massive mintage, like needles in a haystack the size of a small city, are errors that transform ordinary copper into extraordinary wealth. Here is where it gets interesting. The 1969 D penny is notoriously difficult to find in high grades. Most specimens are plagued with carbon spots, planchet flaws, and uneven lustrous appearance from incorrect planchet preparation. The Denver Mint was pushing production at maximum capacity, and quality control suffered. This very imperfection is what makes the perfect specimens so incredibly valuable. But we are not talking about perfect specimens today. We are talking about something far more elusive. We are talking about the errors. Now, before we dive into the specific errors that command six-figure prices, I need to give you a reality check. And this is your second pattern interrupt. Over 90% of the Lincoln cents submitted to grading services as potential double dies from 1969 are actually machine doubling, not true double die errors. Machine doubling has minimal collector value. The difference between a coin worth $1 and a coin worth $250,000 comes down to understanding the technical distinction. And that distinction is everything. True double die obverse errors occur during the die-making process itself. When the hub impresses the design onto the working die, if it strikes twice in slightly different positions, it creates a stunning doubled appearance that is actually part of the die itself. This is not a strike error. This is a die error. And that distinction is what makes it so incredibly rare. The 1969's double die obverse, which is the most famous of these errors, has an estimated population of only 30 to 50 known examples. Experts at PCGS estimate about 30 known. Some estimates suggest fewer than 100 were ever struck. Here is the part that most people do not know. When the 1969's double die was first discovered in 1970, the United States Secret Service actually declared it a counterfeit. They seized examples, launched investigations, and attempted to destroy what they believed were fakes. The irony is staggering. The very agency tasked with protecting American currency accidentally destroyed some of the most valuable coins in American history. Once the error was confirmed as genuine, the damage had already been done. The surviving examples became even more valuable due to their scarcity. The Secret Service inadvertently created the very rarity that makes these coins so valuable today. The doubling on these coins is dramatic. You can see it with the naked eye, although magnification is recommended. Look closely at the date, 1969, the word, liberty, and the motto, in God we trust. On a true double die, you will see a clear secondary image slightly offset from the primary letters. The doubling appears shelf-like with distinct separation between impressions. This is not subtle. This is obvious. If you have to squint and wonder if you see doubling, you probably do not have the real thing. Now, here is the crucial detail that separates the truly valuable from the merely interesting. On the 1969's double die, the mint mark itself should not be doubled. The mint mark was punched into the die separately. If you see doubling on the mint mark, you are looking at a repunched mint mark variety, which is far less valuable. This is the kind of technical knowledge that separates serious collectors from casual observers. And it is exactly the kind of knowledge that could make you a very wealthy person. But we are talking about the 1969D, not the 1969S. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. While the San Francisco Mint produced the famous double die that the Secret Service tried to destroy, the Denver Mint produced its own set of valuable errors that are equally worthy of your attention. The 1969D no FG error is perhaps the most accessible of the valuable varieties. FG stands for Frank Gasparo, the U.S. Mint engraver who designed the Lincoln Memorial reverse. These tiny initials normally appear at the bottom right corner of the memorial. On the no FG variety, an overly enthusiastic die polishing session accidentally removed the letters entirely. The result is a coin that looks incomplete, and collectors love it. Circulated examples typically sell for $45 to $60, while high-grade uncirculated specimens have reached over $500 at heritage auctions. Not a life-changing amount, but not bad for a penny that someone almost certainly tried to spend. Then there is the floating roof variety, which results from an overpolished die that removes detail from the memorial's roof. The Cherry Picker's Guide used to include this as an error but later dropped it because so many were being found. This is a reminder that the numismatic market is constantly evolving, and what is valuable today might not be valuable tomorrow, and vice versa. But the real money, the life-changing money, lies in the off-center strikes and the dramatic mint errors. A 1969D Lincoln cent struck 85% off-center has sold at auction. A 65% off-center strike brought significant money. Double-struck examples, where the coin was struck twice, both times off-center, are highly prized by error collectors. These are the coins that make collectors' hearts race. Now, let us address the elephant in the room. You may have noticed that I have been mentioning the 1969S more than the 1969D, and you might be wondering why. Here is the truth. The most dramatic double die errors from 1969 came from the San Francisco Mint. The 1969's double die obverse is the coin that has sold for over $126,000. It is the coin that experts estimate has only 30 to 50 known examples. It is the coin that the Secret Service tried to destroy. But the 1969D has its own story to tell. And that story is still being written. The 1969 D Lincoln cent is described by PCGS as very underappreciated. Most coins are plagued with quality issues, which makes the high-grade examples genuinely scarce. While the Denver Mint did not produce the dramatic double die that made the San Francisco Mint famous, they produced a wide variety of errors that are only now being fully appreciated by the collecting community. And this brings us to your third pattern interrupt. The coin market is not static. Values change. New varieties are discovered. Old varieties are re-evaluated. The 1969 S double die was not even recognized until the 1990s. Think about that. For over 20 years, these coins sat in collections, in coin jars, in pocket change, completely unrecognized for what they were. The people who had them had no idea they were sitting on a fortune. And then suddenly the market woke up. The same thing could happen with the 1969 D. New varieties could be discovered. New errors could be identified. The coin that you dismiss as pocket change today could be the coin that makes headlines tomorrow. This is not speculation. This is history repeating itself. Every major coin discovery follows the same pattern. Someone finds something unusual. Someone recognizes its significance. And someone becomes very, very wealthy. So what should you do? First, educate yourself. Learn what a true double die looks like versus machine doubling. Understand the difference between a die error and a strike error. Know what the no FG variety looks like and where to find it. Familiarize yourself with the off-center strikes and the repunched mint marks. The more you know, the more likely you are to recognize value when you see it. Second, look at your coins differently. Every penny in your pocket is a potential treasure. Every roll of coins from the bank is a potential gold mine. The people who find these coins are not lucky. They are knowledgeable. They are observant. They are the ones who took the time to learn what to look for. Third, and this is the most important part, do not spend anything until you are sure. If you find a 1969 penny that looks unusual, do not spend it. Do not give it to your kids. Do not put it back in the jar. Set it aside. Get a magnifying glass. Take a close look. Compare it to images from trusted sources like PCGS Coinfax or Heritage Auctions. If you still think you have something special, send it in for authentication. The cost of grading is minimal compared to the potential return. The market for error coins is hotter than it has ever been. Social media has created a new generation of collectors. Stories of life-changing finds have gone viral. The 1969 S double die penny has been featured in countless articles and videos. A 1969 S example sold for an astonishing $750,000 in 2025. The numismatic world is paying attention, and the prices are reflecting that attention. But here is the thing about the market. It rewards those who are prepared. It rewards those who know what they are looking for. It rewards those who take action. The coins are out there. They are sitting in coin jars. They are sitting in old collections. They are sitting in your pocket change right now. The question is not whether they exist. The question is whether you will recognize them when you see them. So here is your call to action. Today, right now, go through your change. Look at every 1969 penny you can find. Check the date. Check the lettering. Look for doubling. Look for missing initials. Look for off-center strikes. You have nothing to lose and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars to gain. And if you do not find anything today, do not be discouraged. Keep looking. Keep learning. Keep your eyes open. The next coin you find could be the one that changes everything. The next roll of pennies from the bank could contain a treasure that has been waiting decades to be discovered. Now, before I let you go, I want to leave you with something to think about. The 1969 D Lincoln cent is just one chapter in the incredible story of American coinage. There are other coins, other errors, other hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Every time you hand over a handful of coins for a cup of coffee, you are making a choice. You are either passing along a piece of pocket change, or you are potentially giving away a treasure. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most elusive, most misunderstood, and potentially most valuable ghosts in the modern coin market, the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Cent. And by the end of this video, you are going to want to check every single jar, drawer, and piggy bank in your house. Most people look at a 1973 penny and see exactly 1 cent. They see a piece of copper that isn't even worth the metal it's printed on. But you are about to see something entirely different. You are about to see the potential for a windfall that could redefine your financial future. Because while billions of these pennies were minted, a tiny fraction of them possess a secret. A secret that transforms them from common currency into a numismatic legend. A secret that has sent shivers down the spines of seasoned collectors and sent auction prices into the stratosphere. This isn't just about finding an old coin. This is about discovering a hidden vault in plain sight. Now, we have to start with a dose of reality because the world of coin collecting is littered with misconceptions. The standard 1973 penny, the one with no mint mark that came from the Philadelphia Mint, is common. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint produced a staggering 3,728,245,000 of them. If you find one in your pocket today, it's worth exactly 2 cents for its copper content. It is the baseline, the control group of the penny world. But this isn't a video about the standard. This is a video about the exception to the rule, the needle in the haystack, the ghost in the machine. The value of any coin, especially a penny, hinges on a delicate alchemy of factors. Its condition, its mint mark, and most importantly, its errors. And that is where the 1973 penny transforms from a mundane cent into a potential 6-figure ticket to wealth. Let's pause for a moment. I want you to do something right now. Look down at your pocket, your purse, or the cup holder in your car. Look at that pile of change. Are you seeing a 1973 penny? Good. Now look closer. This is your first pattern interrupt, your first moment of truth. Are you sure you know what you're looking at? Because the difference between a penny and a fortune can be a fraction of a millimeter. A subtle shift in the metal that most people's eyes would simply glide over. That coin in your hand, that tiny piece of copper, could be the one. But only if you know the secrets. Only if you know the whispers of the minting process. So, what makes a 1973 penny worth more than a car? It all comes down to the errors. We're talking about mistakes made during the minting process, anomalies that were never supposed to see the light of day. These are not just scratches or wear and tear. These are the fingerprints of the minting process itself. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety. This occurs when the hub, the master die used to create the working dies, is impressed twice at slightly different angles. The result is a doubling of the design elements. The date, the word liberty, or the motto in God we trust. The 1972 double die is a legendary and valuable error, and while a 1973 double die is a topic of much debate and confusion within the community, it is a critical point of investigation. Is your coin showing true doubling from the die? Or is it a worthless form of machine doubling caused by the strike itself? This is the question that separates the novice from the expert, the spender from the collector. But the most elusive, the most ghostly of all the 1973 penny errors is the one that ties directly into the legend of the $690,000 penny. We are talking about the no-S mint mark error. Now wait a minute. You might be thinking, but you just said the no mint mark penny from Philadelphia is common. And you're right. Philadelphia pennies don't have an S or a D. That is standard. The error we are discussing is entirely different. This is about a penny that was supposed to have an S mint mark. The San Francisco Mint, which primarily produced proof coins for collectors, struck a limited number of pennies in 1973. In a tiny, tiny fraction of these proof coins, the S mint mark was accidentally left off the die. This is the ghost in the market. A penny that looks like a common Philadelphia coin but was actually struck in San Francisco. These coins are so rare that it's believed nearly all of them were intercepted by mint inspectors before they could be released. Only a handful are known to exist. This is where the hunt gets real. This is where the $690,000 valuation comes into play. While the standard 1973 penny is worth pennies, this specific error, the 1973's no-S proof penny, is a numismatic holy grail. Its value is driven by a perfect storm of factors. Extreme rarity, a fascinating and secretive backstory, and the relentless demand from high-end collectors who will pay almost anything to own a piece of minting history. Finding one would be like finding a unicorn. It would be the culmination of a lifetime of searching, the moment that every coin roll hunter dreams of. The thought that one of these could be sitting in a forgotten jar, mistaken for a common penny, is the very essence of the hidden wealth we talk about on this channel. This is the FOMO, the fear of missing out on a fortune that could be right under your nose. Let's have another pattern interrupt. The market for rare coins is not a slow, steady stream. It is a raging river, a wildfire that can consume a coin's value and send it soaring in a matter of years. We are currently in a market where modern rarities are commanding unprecedented prices. A 1973 Lincoln cent in perfect condition, a flawless MS-67 red example, can already fetch hundreds of dollars. A 1973 D penny at the same grade has sold for nearly $1,000. But these are the standard coins. They are the baseline for perfection. Now, imagine the value of a coin that is not just perfect, but also possesses one of these catastrophic legendary errors. The value compounds exponentially. The rarity of the no-S error, combined with the condition of the coin, is what creates the potential for that life-changing $690,000 payday. The market is hot, collectors are hungry, and the hunt is on. So, what do you do with this information? You become a detective. You become a seeker of hidden wealth. You stop treating your pocket change as trash. This is your call to action. The next time you are handed a penny, you don't just drop it in your pocket. You look at the date. You look for the D or the S. And if you see that it's a 1973 penny with no mint mark, you don't just assume it's from Philadelphia. You take a second look. You remember that some of the most valuable coins in history were found in the most unassuming places. A jar of pennies, a forgotten stash in an attic, a roll of coins from the bank. But wait, there's more to the story. And this is our final and most important pattern interrupt. The legendary 1973 no-S penny is a target for proof sets. But the minting process is chaotic and imperfect, and errors can happen in all sorts of ways. There are other errors to look for, other potential paydays hiding in the details. A wrong planchet error, where a penny is struck on a dime or nickel blank, can be worth thousands. An off-center strike, a die crack, a clipped planchet. Each of these anomalies can turn a common coin into a collector's dream. The key is to know what to look for. The key is to be aware. The key is to look beyond the face value and see the potential that is hiding in plain sight. This is the resolution, the moment where knowledge becomes power. The 1973 Lincoln cent, in its standard form, is a piece of history, a testament to the billions of coins that fuel our economy. But in its error forms, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a symbol of hope, a testament to the fact that fortune can be found in the most unexpected places. It is a reminder that the things we overlook, the things we take for granted, can sometimes hold the greatest value. The story of the 1973 penny is a story of contrasts. The common versus the rare, the spender versus the collector, the overlooked versus the legendary. And the choice of which side of that coin you want to be on is entirely up to you. Now, you are armed with the knowledge. You know the history, you know the errors, you know the potential. You are no longer just a passive observer in the world of currency. You are an active participant in the hunt for numismatic treasure. The ghost of the 1973 penny is out there, hiding in the shadows of pocket change, waiting to be discovered. Will you be the one to find it? Will you be the one to turn that 1 cent into a life-changing fortune? The only way to find out is to start looking. Empty your pockets. Check your change jars. Look through that old collection you forgot you had. The next $690,000 could be sitting in your house right now, disguised as a penny. And as we close this chapter on the 1973 penny, remember that the world of rare coins is vast and full of secrets. This is just the beginning. There are other coins, other errors, other legends waiting to be uncovered. The 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, the 1969 S double die, each one a ghost from the past, each one a potential fortune. So, make sure you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on, because in our next video, we are going to be diving into one of the most controversial and valuable coins in American history. A coin so rare, so shrouded in mystery, that its very existence is a subject of debate among experts. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss it. Until then, keep your eyes open, keep your change close, and never, ever underestimate the power of a penny. Every single day, millions of Americans reach into their pockets, grab a handful of loose change, and spend it without a second thought. They hand over pennies at drive-thrus, drop them into tip jars, and toss them into drawers, completely oblivious to the fact that they might be giving away a fortune. Today, we are going to talk about one specific coin that separates the spenders from the collectors, the oblivious from the observant, the ordinary from the extraordinarily wealthy. We are talking about the 1979 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that, in the right condition with the right error, could be worth as much as $720,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $720,000 for a single penny. Before we go any further, I want you to do something. I want you to pause this video right now. Go grab that jar of loose change you have sitting on your dresser, the one in your car's cup holder, or the old coffee can in your closet. Bring it here, because what I am about to reveal could change your financial future forever. This is not clickbait. This is not hyperbole. This is the reality of the numismatic world. A world where hidden wealth is hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with the knowledge to find it. Let us rewind the clock to 1979. The United States Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of coins to keep up with the demands of the American economy. The Denver Mint alone, identified by the small D Mint mark stamped just below the date on the obverse, churned out a staggering 4,139,357,254 Lincoln Memorial cents. To put that number into perspective, that is more than half the population of the entire planet could own one of these coins. With numbers like that, you would be forgiven for thinking that the 1979 D penny is as common as dirt, worth nothing more than its face value of 1 cent. And for the most part, you would be right. Most of these pennies are indeed worth exactly 1 penny. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Buried within that ocean of 4 billion coins are a handful of ghostly anomalies, minting errors so rare, so unique, that they transform this humble piece of copper into a treasure hunter's dream. The year 1979 was a peculiar one for the Denver Mint. The machinery was running at breakneck speed, and in the chaos of mass production, mistakes were made. One of the most famous and valuable errors to emerge from that year involves what is known as a multiple strike die cap cluster. Imagine this: a coin gets stuck to the die, and instead of being ejected, it stays attached, acting as a cap that strikes subsequent planchets. The result is a bizarre, multi-layered cluster of coins fused together. A multiple strike 1979 D Lincoln cent die cap cluster, containing 33 or 34 coins, actually sold at auction for nearly $11,000. That is a pretty significant return on a 1-cent investment, is it not? But that is just the beginning. The real jackpot lies in the specific errors that make a single 1979 D penny worth a life-changing amount of money. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die. Now, we need to be very careful here because there is a common trap that catches even seasoned collectors off guard. Many people see a slight shadow or a doubling of the letters and think they have struck gold. However, what they are usually seeing is machine doubling, a mechanical effect that adds absolutely no value to the coin. A true double die, on the other hand, is a completely different animal. It occurs when the hub impresses the design into the die multiple times at slightly different angles. This creates a distinct, rounded, and separated doubling on the letters and numbers. The 1972, 1984, and 1995 double die pennies are famous for this. But the 1979 D has its own ghostly varieties that keep collectors up at night. And then there is the phenomenon of the broken punch mint mark. The mint mark punch, used to create the D on all the working dies of the 1979 Lincoln cent, had a split on the lower serif. This flaw caused a unique, broken appearance in the mint mark that many novice collectors mistake for a repunched mint mark, or RPM. While some of these broken punch errors are common and add little to no value, the specific variations and the coin's condition can elevate its worth dramatically. But here is where it gets really interesting. Imagine a coin that was struck on the wrong planchet. What if, instead of being stamped onto a standard copper planchet, that 1979 D die struck a dime blank or some other off-metal disc? These transitional errors are the holy grail of coin collecting. In 1982, the composition of the Lincoln cent changed from 95% copper and 5% zinc to copper-plated zinc. This transition created a few incredibly valuable errors like the 1982 D bronze small date cent, which sold for $18,800. Imagine what a 1979 D penny, a coin from the copper era, struck on the wrong planchet could be worth. The value of any coin is ultimately determined by two things: rarity and condition. And this is where the 1979 D penny becomes a ghost in the market. Despite the massive mintage of over 4 billion coins, the survival rate in high grades is astonishingly low. You see, back in 1979, no one was saving pennies. They were spending them. Coins were thrown into circulation, banged around in pockets, and worn down to nothing. As a result, finding a 1979 D penny in pristine, uncirculated condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. PCGS records only 27 submissions of the 1979 D penny in MS67 red condition, and of those, only 2 have ever been awarded the coveted plus designation. That is it. 2 coins out of over 4 billion. Think about the sheer improbability of that. The odds of you finding a 1979 D penny in your pocket change are already pretty high given the mintage. But the odds of finding one in MS67 plus red condition are astronomical. The coin that sold at heritage auctions for $2,600 was not valuable because it was rare in terms of mintage. It was valuable because it was rare in terms of condition. It was a survivor, a time capsule that had escaped the wear and tear of circulation. And that is the key. If a coin in near-perfect condition can fetch thousands of dollars, imagine what a coin with a dramatic, one-of-a-kind error in the same condition could bring. I want you to feel the excitement of this hunt. I want you to understand that the coin you are about to spend on a pack of gum could be the coin that pays off your mortgage. The numismatic market is red hot right now. Collectors are paying top dollar for high-grade examples and rare errors. The fear of missing out is real, and it is driving prices higher every single day. People are realizing that the spare change sitting in their homes is not just pocket lint. It is potential wealth. And the 1979 D penny is at the center of this treasure hunt. But let us be very clear about something. Not every 1979 D penny is worth a fortune. Common die cracks, filled mint marks, and post-mint damage are not going to make you a millionaire. The market is flooded with people who think they have found a rare error, only to be disappointed by the reality. That is why education is your most powerful tool. You need to know what you are looking for. You need to understand the difference between a valuable double die and worthless machine doubling. You need to be able to spot a genuine mint error versus damage that occurred after the coin left the mint. So what should you look for? First, check the mint mark. Is the D clear or does it look filled, broken, or repunched? Second, examine the date and the lettering. Do you see any strong, rounded doubling? Third, look at the overall condition of the coin. Is it shiny and red, or is it worn and brown? The redder the coin, the higher the potential grade, and the higher the potential value. Fourth, check the weight. A standard 1979 D penny weighs 3.11 grams. If it weighs something significantly different, you might have an off-metal error on your hands. And fifth, look for any dramatic anomalies. Is the coin off-center? Is there a cud, a raised blob of metal on the rim? Is the design missing or distorted? The hunt for the 1979 D penny is a microcosm of the American dream. It is the idea that wealth can be found in the most unexpected places, that a keen eye and a little bit of knowledge can turn the mundane into the magnificent. This coin is a ghost because it exists in the shadows of our everyday lives. We handle it, we spend it, and we ignore it. But for those who know what to look for, that ghost can become very, very real. Now, let us talk about the elephant in the room. The $720,000 valuation. Is it real? The short answer is that while no single 1979 D penny has publicly sold for that exact amount yet, the trajectory of the error coin market suggests that it is only a matter of time. When you combine extreme rarity with a dramatic, visually striking error and a flawless grade, the sky is the limit. We have seen other Lincoln cents, like the 1943 bronze cent, sell for over $1 million. We have seen the 1969 double die pull in high five-figure and low six-figure sums. The 1979 D penny has all the ingredients to join that elite club. It has the massive mintage that makes survival in high grade nearly impossible. It has the potential for dramatic mint errors. And it has a growing army of collectors who are hungry for the next big find. The clock is ticking. Every day, more and more of these coins are being pulled from circulation by savvy collectors. The window of opportunity is closing. I want you to feel the urgency. I want you to feel the excitement. I want you to look at your pocket change differently from this moment forward. And that brings us to the resolution. This is your call to action. Do not wait. Do not assume that your coins are worthless. Take action right now. Get a magnifying glass, a good light source, and start searching. Check every single 1979 penny you come across. Look at the mint mark. Look at the date. Look at the condition. You might just be holding a piece of American history that is worth a fortune. The difference between you and the person who finds that $700,000 coin is simply awareness. They know what to look for, and now so do you. But before you run off to check your change jar, I want to leave you with a cliffhanger. The 1979 D penny is just one piece of the puzzle. There are other ultra-rare coins lurking in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. Coins that make the 1979 D penny look like small change. In our next video, we are going to reveal a coin so rare, so elusive, that only a handful of examples are known to exist. A coin that could be sitting in your grandfather's old collection right now. Make sure you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on so you do not miss it.